passions. I'm going to talk about tea. I really like tea. Who's a tea drinker? Hands up if you're a tea drinker. No, whoa, no, keep up. Now keep your hand up if you consider yourself a fussy tea drinker. Okay, still lots of hands up there. Madam, how do you take your tea? Strong and black.
Like our men.
Oh, no, you put it down again. Hand up again. Where was that? There. Madam, how do you take tea? Assam and Earl Grey. Either or both together. What ratio? Half and half. About half and half? That doesn't sound very fussy. That sounds like quite. Anyway, I used to be very fussy about how I take my tea, and it started to worry me that what should be an art had become a science, and at the risk of being anti-science at this gathering, I'd really like to make the case for tea just sort of being tea. It's all tea, isn't it? Isn't it? I don't know. Well, how do I explain it? Let me put it like this. I stayed a while with Earl and Lady Grey. They can argue on the point all night and day. But when it is discussed, I must admit I am not fussed. I'll gladly take my tea served anyway. I've studied tachyons and muons, I've considered all the facts on which the scientists agree. But if you put a brew on, I will tell you to relax, cause I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. I must admit I find it a terrible bore when some fussplot puts on a tedious show about only taking tea with jam and bread, and how that brings her back to the bread. So whenever I'm the governess to supper, I add a shot of whiskey to her number. It's not really how she takes it, but I find the mixture makes it much easier to G the young girl. Give me a more dealing latex, too strong Lady Grey, it doesn't matter much to me. If you get the feeling I will turn your tea away, fear not, I've never been that fussy about how I drink my tea. Some always take their cup before theirs. Some always drink when they thirst to quench. The Englishman defers to how the Japanese takes theirs, and of course it takes revolting to the French, whose three national beverages are, of course, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Some like their tea diffused in Boston stocks, though water from the tap is more widely liked. Dancers like it with a kick, and divers on the rocks, and sadomasochists prefer their spice. They say to rinse the pot with boiling water to ensure the leaves infuse, and then to wait till 3:30. But if my tea's served at 1:45, I doubt I would refuse, cause I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. Some leave the tea bag in to steep in the importance that his words is full of quite religiously. Some drink from a pink teapot that is orbiting the earth, but I have never been that fussy about how I drink my tea. Some leave the tea bag in to steep it. It's a fast song. Let's take that chorus again. 2, 3, 4. The pennies will insist an extra tea bag for the pot, and one for you and one for me. Would that extra bag be missed if I forgot? No, I've never been that fussy about how I take my tea. How I take my tea. I am not fussy about how I take my tea. I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. How I take my tea. That is why we stopped playing. Tea break. Oh no, the song's gone past 3 minutes. That means they're entitled to a tea break. In the middle of the song. I'm going to have to make tea. I'm going to make tea for them.
Too much tea! How do you take it? It doesn't matter! How do you take it? It doesn't matter! It doesn't taste the same! How do you take it? Who Oh, come on, guys, we've got, it's nearly 11 o'clock, we can't come.
I remembered, there's a loophole in brass union regulations, which means that if players aren't actually playing a brass instrument, they can still play. Steve, the teapot. You see the teapot that is exuding terrifying chemicals meant to represent tea. Play that like a musical instrument.
Come on, Steve, help me out, help me out. Steve!
Steve, Queen's going to play the teapot. Come on, Steve.
Help me out,
Mate, help me out.
No, Steve, just like
Okay, guys, remember Jeremy Clarkson.
Sorry, cold tea.
No, it's so hot, it just seems cold.
Tastes a bit weird.
Don't worry, it's the last night. You can recover over Christmas.
It's quite toxic.
Play the teapots.
take my tea. With milk or without milk, I will serve it up with glee. I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. Chamomile or rosehip, peppermint or strawberry, I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. How I take my tea, how I take my tea. I am not fussy about how I take my tea. No, I have never been that fussy about how I take my tea. And God
Thank you.